Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show, and I am Robert Gatewood, your host. We are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. We're not saving souls, we're saving businesses, saving jobs, saving our community. Now, if I happen to save a soul along the way, don't hold that against me. We'll just call that icing on the cake. Now, the mission at Marketing Pulpit Show is to build strong businesses in our community so that we can put our people to work. And we do that with business development, job creation, and service. So if you ever find yourself in a business crossroads and not sure which way to turn, just turn on the Marketing Pulpit Show because we are on a mission. The show is broadcast live from the illustrious Radio 1 studio.
Welcome to the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host. And we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. I am Robert Gatewood. I am a business developer by trade. I help companies in the business space, people who have business aspirations, people who are trying to grow and scale their companies, people who are in the web space, technology, digital marketing, and so forth. That's what I do. That's my reason for being. And it's important now. We have to build these businesses in our community because we're discovering that nobody else is going to do it for us. So we have to double down and create our own successful businesses. And I'm just telling you, you can't do that if you don't understand marketing. It's just not going to happen. So that's my space. That's where I do my work. I'm a marketing business developer. And you can find out more about me by going to gatewoodmarketing.com. That's my company, Gatewood Marketing and Web. And you can also find out more about Marketing Pulpit by going to marketingpulpit.com. We're also on all the major social media platforms. We're on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram. And of course, go to marketingpulpit.com. You can watch the show live right on the homepage. You don't have to get on social media. Because I know some people are like they're social media averse. That's okay. Got something for you too. So just go to marketingpulpit.com and you can find out about the show and listen live. This is the first Friday in August. And I'd like to observe some things that's happening this month. It's Family Fun Month. Happiness Happens Month. Oh, that's a positive thing, right? National Back to School Month. Those kids will be going back to school this month. And it's also Black Business Month. That's important to all the Black businesses out there and those who want to support Black businesses. And it's also National Wellness Month. Now that's the intersection of two important aspects of our community, the Black businesses and the stakeholders of the Black business. You don't have to be a Black business to be a stakeholder. You can be a customer, a funder, investor, supplier, a vendor, and the wellness. We're going to talk about that because we think about Black business and you think about wellness. We think about, they seem unrelated prima facie, at first glance. But when you dig a little deeper, you realize they're more connected than we realize. We spend years pouring our energy and resources and time into building these businesses, chasing customers, putting products on the shelves, building our websites and infrastructure. But in the process, sometimes we sacrifice our well-being. So that's why today we're going to talk about building your wealth without bankrupting your health. You're not going to get that wealth if you don't have the health. Just saying. And so, point is, sometimes we spend a lot of time building these companies, and then we don't have the time to stick around to enjoy it because we've worn ourselves out. And then you layer on the concept of being a Black business owner. Challenges gets a little harder. dealing with rising costs, dealing with some challenges that are unique to our community. And you find yourself carrying the burden of not just the business, but also sometimes you feel like you're carrying the weight of your community and your family on your shoulder. So that's why today we're going to talk about health, wellness, and celebrating Black businesses. So how do we build this business? How do we build this wealth without compromising our health or bankrupting our health? Can we do it? I'm sure, of course we can. Of course we can. It's called life. Life be lifing. Let's talk about a couple items in the news. Read about this. Back. Okay. So this first time author, this guy named Jerry Falati. He's a Nigerian brother. He has found himself in the crosshairs of a literary firestorm because it's been reported he had made a $2 million deal with a book publisher. And the deal now is in jeopardy. It's been really pulled back because they say he used AI to write the book. Of course, he said it's racially motivated. And I'm telling you, this story you're going to see this story quite a bit. Because as we get deeper into AI, the question is going to be not whether you use AI or not, because practically most people in business are using it, including authors, musicians, creative people. They're using it right and left. It's a matter of how much are you using it and how much are you documenting or attributing to AI. Like you go into some of these platforms now, they have a little box that says, I'm admitting or confessing that this literature or this content that I've created has been created by AI. So we're going to start seeing that. And I'm saying the question is not going to become who is using it, because most people, particularly in the business space now, in some form or fashion, sometimes even if you're not aware of it, you're using it whether you admit it or not. Jerry, he says he used it only for research. I'm telling you, is that a sin? Did he just type in a prompt and say, AI, write my book? Well, he's saying that's not the case. He's saying there was still some creativity on him. So that story is going to be playing itself. I'm just going to say to yourself, if you're going to use AI, just be aware that what might be acceptable today may not be acceptable a year from now. So I say proceed with caution. Continue to use your brain you have in your head. And if you're using AI, use it to do some of the grunt work, but don't let it replace your creativity or your authenticity. That's going to be the line, I think, where the line is going to be drawn between creativity, authenticity, and let AI do the mechanics. All right, sticking with the AI theme, scientists have used AI to create a virus at Stanford University. You say, why would you use AI to create a virus? Don't we want to get rid of viruses? Well, this is part of research to go breakthrough. But the question becomes, is people going to start using these viruses that you can create with AI for nefarious reasons? I'm going to say most likely, because as we see the way that war has progressed over the years. People used to stand there and throw rocks at each other. Then they were doing spears, and then they created rifles, then Gatling guns, and then airplanes dropping bombs, and tanks, and laser weapons, and nuclear weapons. And you think they're not going to use AI to create some virus to drop in somebody's water supply? That's going to be the new nuclear weapon. And it might just level a playing field with some of these superpowers. Nuclear weapon might not be the equalizer. It may be the use of technology, particularly AI. And if AI that's not scary enough, AI systems now have gone rogue and attacking people in other systems. We've seen 2 news stories lately where AI, the engine, the agent, the model, or whatever it was, they were experimental systems, of course, but they launched cyber attacks against rivals on their own. In other words, nobody said, hey, go over here and attack Google or go over here and attack Microsoft. These things are doing it on their own. It's like they're taking on a personality and they're being protective. So they're taking these offensive actions systems. Now, of course, that might be scary, but and the good news is that it's been limited in scope so far, and it has been done only in experimental testing. And that genie is creeping out of the bottle a little bit more every day. So, what do you say? Save yourselves. You know, it's hard to tell somebody, well, look, you can protect yourself by not getting on AI. Well, you can't. It's not your call, believe it or not. If you have a cell phone, you have a computer, you have a bank, go to the doctor. If they're using it, whether you like it or not, you're in it. All right. Good morning, Marcia, down in Texas. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Good to see you. Livingstone College in the house. All right. Let's take a quick break. We come back, we're going to talk about building wealth without losing your health. So hang on a minute. This is the Marketing Pulpit. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we will see you back here in a moment.
Hey, how'd the job search go?
Nobody's hiring. At least not me.
Then why don't you come work for me?
Really, Dad? You can hire me? That's what business ownership is all about.
All right, welcome back. This is the Marketing Pulpit Business Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we are here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. I'm not here saving souls. I'm here saving businesses. My dad was the soul saver. He was a Baptist minister. Man, he was one of those fire and brimstone guys. Man, he tear it up there. I'd sit that in front of the pulpit, in front of him for many years. Matter of fact, when I was ready to start my show, I was looking for a name, and he was in hospice at the time, and I decided to name the show Marketing Pulpit in his honor. And we're going on 16 years strong. We started over at Radio 1 back in 2010 with Miss Kathy Hughes and Karen Jackson and Ron Thompson and Alonzo. Great team over there. But now we're here, and we're talking about thriving in today's economy, whether you are a Black company, Black-owned business, or a supporter. This is Black Business Month. I'm going to give you some tips on how to navigate this Black Business Month. If you say, wait, what do we do? We just sit around, look at each other, and go find some food to eat. That's how we usually celebrate. But this time, let's talk about something a little more strategic. Like for number one, I'm going to say, buy Black intentionally, not just for the month. Sit down and think about the things that you buy on a regular basis. And can you get those products from a Black-owned business? So develop year-round habits of supporting Black-owned businesses. You may have to pay a few more coins higher because some of the competitors are buying inventory in carloads, train loads, and your Black-owned business may be buying it in one case at a time. And so that economies of scale sometimes is not as pronounced in a Black-owned business. But that's another reason we need to collaborate and pool our resources. As a matter of fact, I was talking to a book publisher. Matter of fact, yesterday, this guy out of Philadelphia, calls himself the Black Amazon. And so we're collaborating right now to pool our resources to get out. Because right now, if you're an author, you buy your book, you got $15 a book, then you're trying to sell it for $19. By the time you take out the overhead, you haven't made a penny. So we're doing with this publisher, we're collaborating, and we're going to start buying in bulk. And he would be this main distributor. He would buy our inventory and other companies' inventory, stock it in this big warehouse. And then he would do the consignment, the drop shipments. But what happens, we get that economies of scale. You buying in bulk and bringing down those unit costs. That's that collaboration we have to do more of. We can do it. And if you need some tips on that, check me out. One fault that we have as a community, and not just this community, but in any business, you're too eager to compete on price. I learned this a little late. I wanted to be the low guy. Think about Gatewood, they're going to get the best price. That's not the case anymore. You contact Gatewood because you want the best value. They want a good experience. They feel like you're fair, you're trustworthy. You're not going to run out with their money. So being the low person is not necessarily a good thing. People look at you side-eyed sometimes. Your price is too low. Wait a minute. You can't do that for that price. So let's stop some of that, okay? And another thing I want you to do, because some of these tips are good for any business, whether you're a Black business, a combination of Black and something else. But we're talking about Black Business Month, so we're going to be intentional today. You have to own your audience. I've been beating this drum since Buck was a calf. You bring that customer in, you need to own them. I don't mean lock him in a basement. I mean you don't just rely on bringing in these people floating in and out on social media. And no, own that person. Put up a website, capture their email address, capture their contact information, set up a CRM system to follow them through that experience and own them, and they will reward you handsomely. Build a community. And you need to invest in your brand. That's another way to compete against this AI. You have to be a brand that people can relate to, they feel comfortable with. So when you're doing things like, how do you create a brand? Well, one good way I like to do is create content marketing. Like this show. This show is content marketing. We bring in good content and we're enamoring ourselves with the audience, building trust, credibility, all the good things that, trying to build a brand that people can relate to. So you constantly can create, you can do that by content marketing, social media platform, get a strong logo, good slogan, and then those are the iconic representations of your brand. But your brand is really about who you are. What do you stand for? What do you represent? And constantly invest in that. Let people see that. Okay. Another tip I want to give you today is on AI. Use it wisely. We talked about it earlier. Let the technology improve your efficiency. Don't let it replace you. Don't let it replace your creativity, your authenticity. Use it as a tool to create efficiency. That is my short advice on AI in a nutshell. Another thing you need to do is build systems. Like, let AI help you build these systems. If you want to give AI something to do, let it help you build a system. So you eliminating redundancies, overlap, overhead that's unnecessary. You want to build a better mousetrap. If you want to use AI, let it help you do that. But you need systems in order to compete in this economy. And finally, I'm going to say, think generationally. It's not just about you today. Just saw that ad a minute ago where a young man came home and asked his dad, "Hey, it's rough out here. I can't find a job." Dad's kind of grinning because he had some up his sleeve. So looks at the kid and says, "Hey, Dad, nobody's hiring, especially not me." Dad looks at him and said, "Come work for me." Man, I'm telling you, that's magic. When you can do that, that's thinking generationally. Of course, I have a daughter, but she doesn't need me. But I've always told her, you would never, as long as I'm drawing air, you will always have a place to work. But she can say that to me now, probably. That she's doing quite well. But so think generationally. We have to build these businesses not just to buy a fancy car, bigger house, some nice clothes to take some trips. We build these businesses for the next generation. And now, like I said, everybody's not built to be a business owner. But you can support a business, you can buy into a business, you can partner with a business, there are ways to get involved, but we collectively have to think generationally, particularly in the Black business world. And those are just some tips to guide us on this Black History Month, Black Business Month. My dad was a business owner. I didn't realize that you don't think about these things when you're a kid. My dad got a small business loan under the Johnson administration. That was called the Great Society back then. He started a small grocery store. I was probably about 8 years old. My dad was also a sharecropper. And so he gave me the choice of working out in the field or working behind the counter in the grocery store. That's not going to be a hard decision. So I was out there sitting behind the counter in the grocery store drinking grape sodas, and my older siblings out there in the cotton field. That's probably why they look at me funny to this day. Because I was right on the line. I was right there at the dividing line. My dad thought so also. You're not gonna be much good out there in the field. But anyway, all right, we're back. We're back. Sorry about that. Had a little loss of internet service here for a second. So hang on a second. We'll be right back. Don't. All right, we're back. We're back. Thanks for tuning in. This is the Marketing Pulpit Show. I'm Robert Gatewood, your host, and we're here every Friday at 10:30 a.m. bringing you the good marketing gospel. Today we're talking about building wealth without bankrupting your health. Talked about Black business owners and some tips on how to navigate on this Black Business Month. Some of the things that you can do, and we're also going to quickly talk about your. As a matter of fact, what we're going to do, I'm going to run quickly through a couple of, because it is National Wellness Month as well. Just going to quickly talk about a couple of quick items because this theme is, I think, is heavy on my mind lately because we've lost so many of our members of our business community recently. I mean, it's like every time I turn around, somebody else is leaving us. So I want us to make sure that we're doing what we can to make sure that we are around. We don't do all this work building these companies and we're not here to enjoy the fruits of the labor. And we also talked about the legacy of being generational when it comes to Black businesses. But once again, that generation is going to be hampered if you're not here. So just quickly, we're going to talk about just quickly some things that I want you to take into consideration as we wrap up the show and we head into this National Wellness Month. Make your health a priority. Just like everything else that's on that you have on your phone and your thing that's on. Sure, health is in there. Exercise, get your rest, drink water. Rest is important. It's productive. Burnout can cost you dearly. It can hamper your business. And you really need to take your rest seriously, okay? Protect your mental health. Don't fight every battle. One thing that comes with maturity is some things you just have to let slide. An insult, a slight, it's not worth it. Let it go. Man, that to me has been like I've had people say some things like, normally in the past, I'm like, man, I'm rolling up my sleeve, I'm ready to battle. I'm like, don't worry about it. It's not worth it. Let them go in and stew in it and ruin their lives and damage their health. You got better things to do. Let's see what else going on. Move around, exercise, be active. Don't sit at that desk for 8 hours straight. It's easy to do that, but you get in that computer, you get in your design mode, that muse is working, man, you'll sit there for 3 days if somebody doesn't remind you to move. Don't do that, okay? Eat like you the boss. Healthy food, vegetables. Don't sit there and eat Big Macs day in and day out. Greasy fried food. That's not going to work for you. And disconnect from this stuff every now and then, okay? Take a break. Go for a walk. Go to a movie. Go for a drive. Learn to say no. Protect your peace. That's something else I've mastered in the last few years. It's hard, but you have to protect your peace. People don't always understand what you're up against. So you have to protect it yourself. Some of these same people that don't understand why you're protecting your peace, you're actually doing it for them too. So you can be around. I think they'd rather have some of you than none of you. But you have to protect your peace. And build yourself a tight circle of people that are confidants. Mentors, friends, family members, bounce things off of them. Don't be getting this vacuum, this hole and just wallow in your problems or pity. No, there's some people that are actually pretty good at, sometimes they give a little more information than they should, but don't carry everything alone, okay? When you do something well, you go ahead and celebrate it. Pat yourself on the back every now and then. Because stress can kill you. It compounds. So take a minute every now and then. Hey, look, that was good. Let's move on. Got something accomplished. And it's encouraging. And this is something I want you to do too. Remember why you started the business. It wasn't to stretch yourself out, burn yourself out, put yourself in an early grave. I'm gonna have to sit here. Sometimes I have to steel myself to come on these airways because I'm still grieving about people that have left me, us, our community. Much of it was preventable. But I feel in some cases, if we had lived better and protected our peace, our health, treated our businesses, treated our bodies as well as we treat our businesses. So you have to remember that your business is a means to an end. It's not the end itself. It's to provide resources and funds activity, give your status. All that stuff is nice, but you're doing it for your family, for the next generation, for a legacy. Well, at least I can speak for me, okay. But I think most people who are genuinely into their businesses, you have to occasionally go back and connect with your purpose. I can never forget the reason that I started this business is to help small business owners navigate in the marketplace. I spent many years in corporate America, and I saw they had a tremendous advantage over small companies. So I said, I'm going to level the playing field. And I've never wavered from that purpose. Sometimes it wasn't profitable. Sometimes it wasn't popular. Sometimes I had to take part-time jobs and hustles to keep it going. But in the end, I'm quite satisfied and fulfilled because I have been true to my purpose. It feels good. Feels good. All right, that's going to wrap it up today. If you're in the area, if you're in the DC area, come on out to the First Friday networking event at BLE Executive Suites in 9701 Apollo Drive. You can go online and register, or you can just drop in. Come on, drop in. I'll be there. We have a special guest today, Miss Candace Camille. She's a wellologist. So we're keeping the wellness theme going. She'll be there and showing us how to survive while we thrive. We're going to keep that theme going. She's an amazing young lady. Matter of fact, she was a co-host on this show for many years. She was a guest not too long ago. So I'm looking forward to that. Thank everybody for tuning in. I'll be back next week. Thanks again to our sponsor, BLE Executive Suites, Ms. Bernadette Clay, with their 3 locations in the DC area: Largo, National Harbor, College Park, which is a hub zone. And they will also be sponsoring, along with Marketing Pulpit, the First Friday starting in about 20 minutes. So I'm going to jump off the air. If you're in the area, come on down. I'll be looking just like this downstairs in the building where I'm broadcasting. So come on out. Look forward to seeing you. And until then, I'll see you next week. And I like to end each show with this, with these words. If you want to be successful, do these 3 things. Do the right thing. Do it at the right time. And you have to do it right. Enough talk. Let's get to work.
Hey, how'd the job search go?
Nobody's hiring. At least not me.
Then why don't you come work for me?
Really, Dad? You can hire me? That's what business ownership is all about.